Have you been outside? Have you traveled outside Palestine?
Yes.
Where?
Turkey.
Turkey? Rome.
We wanted to find
Guys, the open-air prison is serious. People can't leave. They're stuck there, but they have time to go to Turkey and Rome.
How do you see the life under occupation?
It's too hard.
It's too hard.
Oh, it's so hard wearing brand names and having nice sunglasses and living in such a horrible condition in Ramallah, one of the richest cities in the Palestinian territories. It's just so hard. Hi, you guys doing? This is Sahar TV, and in today's video, we'll see Visegrad 24 going to Ramallah to see if the open-air prison claim is true and asking Palestinians some pretty difficult questions. Let's take a look.
We spent the day in Ramallah, which serves as the de facto capital of the disputed state of Palestine. Often called an open-air prison, we were surprised to find that despite the poverty and high unemployment rate which plagues the West Bank, the city of Ramallah was filled with life and bustling with energy. Interspersed between the cream and white-colored 2 to 3 stories high apartment blocks so common to the Middle East were gold-laden jewelry stores, expensive cars, and shopping malls that look better than those in Central and Eastern European countries. And confusingly, a very large amount of knockoff American and Western stores. When we set out into the West Bank, we were really unsure of what we were going to film or do, and initially we planned a simple vlog. Our guide for the day was Mustafa, a former stone thrower, more on him later, to embark on what we thought would be a simple vlog filming expedition. After driving into Ramallah, our first stop was Stars and Bucks, which is essentially a Palestinian twist on Starbucks. We spent an hour or so relaxing there and listening to Mustafa telling us the Palestinian side of the Israel-Palestine story.
If you don't remember, we saw Stars and Bucks, I believe, with a different vlogger that went there. Apparently, it's a popular place. It's a poppin' place. Apparently, it's poppin'.
It's an Arabic says. He will say, American don't know. Half of the American, even they don't have passport. American, they support Israel. American, they need a stable in the Middle East, which is Israel. Many American leaders, they said, if Israel wasn't there, we have to create Israel to put an eye or to put a leg in the Middle East.
We attempted to film some street interviews, but most Palestinians were unwilling to speak with us.
We're struggling to get answers, partially because people are concerned that if they do talk to us on camera, if they do say what they think, they'll be blacklisted by the Israelis and they will not be able to get work in Israel. You want peace with Israel?
I can't talk this.
Okay.
بعيد عنه.
Fair enough. I understand.
Yes. When we
turn the camera off.
Yes.
Ooh, so if they turn the camera off, you're gonna spill the tea? I think just this encounter and her response is very much telling of what she thinks. She doesn't like Israel, and she wants it destroyed. That's why she doesn't want it recorded.
Okay.
When you stop.
When we stop filming.
Yes, I can't talk.
Okay.
Because can you stop this?
Yes.
Until Mustafa himself grabbed the mic and asked the questions himself.
هذا طلع هو الشيطان الأساسي وحكومتهم يهودية واليهود اللي بتحكم.
To get the full experience, we ventured into the city, trying our best to blend in. I ended up getting a great value haircut at the local barber.
We're struggling to interview people in the streets, so I'm just going to get a haircut.
Sure, man, always. I know Lewandowski.
Lewandowski, there we go.
Lewandowski goes through the goal! You just cannot be that good!
It's literally the most famous Pole.
Spotted and tasted Logan Paul's prime in a market by the imposing Abdel Nasser Mosque.
Who's the influencer?
Logan Paul.
Make it 3. I'm sure it's about expert. That's why they sell it cheap.
It tastes like an influencer made it.
And then we visited the mausoleum of Yasser Arafat. In a city that is 99.9% Palestinian, we inevitably drew a lot of attention, not all of it friendly, making it difficult and stressful to film. The only content we really got was that of our fixer Mustafa and a few rare interviews. That's why we have restructured this video and built around our day with Mustafa. So let's rewind and start at the beginning. The infamous Qalandia checkpoint in Jerusalem.
Boy, what an introduction. I'm excited to watch this video. This introduction took 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. Oh my God, let's watch.
Often do you take journalists often to Ramallah? No.
Journalists rarely go into the West Bank, mostly because of the numerous dangers involved in traveling to this increasingly violent and unstable area. The risks include being caught in crossfire, getting kidnapped, or simply random acts of violence while on the road. Journalists are advised to travel in groups with a Palestinian fixer and with Palestinian security.
And then Piers Morgan asks, why don't you let journalists into Gaza? Because this is one of the consequences. You could get abducted, killed, or told what to say to affect the narrative that Hamas wants you to affect.
Since October 2023, at least 29 journalists have been detained by Israeli forces and 3 by the Palestinian Authority.
Okay, welcome to Palestine.
We met Mustafa on the West Bank side of Qalandia, which serves as the primary IDF checkpoint between the northern West Bank and Jerusalem, and it is famous for being a frequent site of demonstrations against the Israeli occupation. The Chronicles of Jerusalem are a gigantic quarry from which each side has mined stones for the construction of its myths and for throwing at each other. And the Palestinians took the stone throwing very literally, to the extent that it is one of the symbols of the so-called Palestinian resistance. It has generated some of the most iconic photos of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Numerous Palestinian poems and popular songs celebrate the heroism of children who throw stones. A popular song of the First Intifada says, Palestinians often
Wow, peaceful children singing peaceful songs.
describe stone throwing as a symbolic form of non-lethal protest, but at least 14 Israelis have been killed by Palestinian stone throwers, including 3 Arabs mistaken for Jews. The State of Israel has passed laws to sentence stone throwers convicted of the charge to up to 20 years imprisonment. Our guide, Mustafa, turned out to have been one of those imprisoned for stone throwing at the age of 17.
I spent 2 years in the prison.
What for?
You see kids throwing stone?
I see.
I was one of them. That's a long time ago. In 2005. I was 17, yeah. This is another type of tear gas canister.
As my journey into the West Bank began, I quickly discovered that this was not to be the fact-finding expedition I had envisaged when I made preparations for this video. Mustafa, very honestly, declared that this was not a journey of truth, but rather an exploration of the Palestinian perspective.
By the way, you don't have to believe everything I say. I say what I think is true. I don't say the truth. I say what I think is truth. Because end of the day, you are here to listen the story from the eye of the Palestinian.
Yes.
And I am the eye of the Palestinian.
It felt fitting, given how much of the conflict is played out not in the battlefield, but rather in the realm of ideas and narratives, how so much of the debate around Palestine is based not in facts, but feelings, not in historical evidence, but slogans, not in history books, but in memes.
Because believe me, I met with some tourists coming to Palestine. They don't know anything. They don't know anything about Palestine or Israel. They don't know anything about the occupation. Imagine people coming all the way from London just to take selfie with Banksy graffiti and go.
In 2002, during the height of the Second Intifada, Israel began constructing this massive wall, 450 miles long, 38 feet high. Israel called it a security precaution to stop attacks. But for Palestinians, this wall wasn't just concrete, it was a land grab. Why? Because it wasn't built on the 1967 Green Line, the internationally recognized boundary between Israel and the West Bank. Instead, the wall cuts deep into Palestinian territory, carving out land, disrupting communities, and reshaping lives.
Well, why do we have to go according to the 67 borders? There was no peace deal that was accepted in 1967. The only deal that was signed was in 1995, the Oslo Accords between Yasser Arafat and Yitzhak Rabin. That's why you have Area A, Area B, and Area C. So of course, the walls are not going to be built according to the... What the hell?
In 2004, the International Court of Justice ruled the wall illegal. But here's the thing, court rulings don't necessarily get attention. Art does.
Graffiti is a good way to spread the news about Palestine. Banksy brings good attention.
And that's where Banksy comes in. In 2005, he turned the wall into a global stage. He painted 7 murals, each one a bold, thought-provoking critique of the occupation. Imagine a child digging through the wall to a paradise on the other side, or a ladder reaching toward freedom. These weren't just images, they were stories beamed around the world. He made it impossible to ignore. Banksy didn't just rebrand the wall, he rebranded the entire narrative around the West Bank. The world's largest open-air prison is to this day used to describe the West Bank. The claim that Palestine is an open-air prison has traveled far and wide and has become a talking point of Western pro-Palestine activists. We wanted to verify this claim, so one of the questions we asked Palestinians later that day in Ramallah was if they had ever traveled abroad.
عمرك سافرت برا فلسطين؟
لا والله.
وين حابب تروح؟
على أمريكا.
Have you been outside?
Yeah.
Where?
دبي UAE.
Have you been outside? Outside of Palestine? Have you traveled
Yeah.
outside? Where?
Turkey. No.
No. Have you been outside? Have you traveled outside Palestine?
Yes.
Where?
Turkey.
Turkey? Rome.
We wanted to find
Guys, the open-air prison is serious. People can't leave. They're stuck there, but they have time to go to Turkey and Rome.
Find out from the inhabitants of Ramallah what struggles they face, because while the West Bank might not be an open-air prison, Palestinians certainly face numerous challenges and difficulties that those of us who live in Western countries do not.
طيب كيف الحياة اليومية تحت الاحتلال؟
الحمد لله هينا عايشين يعني الحمد لله رب العالمين شو بدنا نكون
مش ماشية.
بعين الله شو بدنا نسوي
فيش عندنا حرية تنقل أبداً يعني صرنا حتى في رام الله مثلاً نحكي اللي هي نحكي فيش معنى احتلال عايش بالضبط جواها صرنا ما نعرفش نتحرك منيح صار وقت ما بدهم بدخلوا وقت ما بدهم بيطلعوا صرنا نشوف يقتلوا الناس بدم بارد.
Completely ignoring the fact that terrorists leave from Ramallah and commit terror attacks in Israel, and then the IDF has a right to go and find the terrorists. You want to live in peace? Stop attacking Israel. It's that simple.
فالموضوع بحكي لك يتعلق أكثر إشي بأنه انعدام أمان في أي مكان من أراضي فلسطين سواء أراضي 48 أو الضفة.
Do you see the life under the occupation?
It's hard and difficult.
Difficult, hard?
It's hard.
No, I don't think that.
Yeah. How do you see the life under occupation?
It's too hard.
It's too hard.
Oh, it's so hard wearing brand names and having nice sunglasses and living in such a horrible condition in Ramallah, one of the richest cities in the Palestinian territories. It's just so hard.
Too hard, and we want to live like any people in the world.
We don't have life. We don't have a future. Before you don't have a future, now we don't have more future.
Daily life under the occupation.
Daily life of Palestinian here is difficult for transportation between the city, even inside the city. You have a problem about the soldier. Maybe in one time he can come anytime, close the road, close the shop, close everything.
كيف الحياة تحت
The victimization of the Palestinians like they've done nothing wrong is appalling. The only reason why you have checkpoints is because of the intifadas. That's the only reason. The only reason why the IDF would go inside is to make arrests of people who are guilty of terrorism.
الاحتلال؟
والله صعب شوي والله صعبة.
شوي ولا كثير؟
كثير والله. ضغوطات الواحد لا بيقدر يفوت ولا يطلع. واللي بصير في الناس واللي بصير في غزة خصوصا الله يحميهم يا رب الله يرحم شهدائنا. والله ضغط كثير. شوي بس بدنا نتحمل بين الله يعني في النهاية احنا الربحانين.
Does this victory end with a peaceful resolution, or does it end with another October 7th? We wanted to know whether the Palestinians we interviewed complaining about enduring hardships under Israeli occupation wanted a peaceful resolution with the world's only Jewish state.
احنا بدنا سلام ولا بدناش سلام؟
لا.
شو يعني؟
شو أقول؟
أنت تقول شو بدك إياه.
What to say for the camera? What to say for the international community? Should I say yes? Should I say no? What to say?
أنت سلام إنه يصير صحبي معهم يعني؟
لا، إن إحنا بنحب السلام.
شيء أكيد.
بدنا حياة.
أكيد بدنا حياة، بدنا الاحتلال يطلع يبعد عنا، يطلع من بلادنا، بدنا نعيش بسلام، بدنا مبسوطين، ما بدناش يعني كل الأشياء هاي، بس خلص هالشيء انكتب علينا فلازم إحنا نكون أقوى من هيك، ونضل ورا القضية هاي تا إن شاء الله نربح.
He said at the beginning, no, we don't want peace. What should I say? And then he said, we want the occupation to end. We want them to leave our homeland. So you are against peace. You want the indigenous people of this land, the Jewish people, to leave. Whether it's with violence, whether it's without violence. You don't want peace. You want to ethnically cleanse us.
Inshallah.
Do you want peace?
Peace, yeah. Why not?
Do you want peace?
Yeah, of course.
Do you want peace?
Of course, the Israel of peace is different about Palestinian peace. Palestinian peace means give Palestine airport.
We as a Palestinian do.
Nah. By the way, I'll pause this video right here because I don't want to take all the views from Visegrad. I think they're awesome. I'll attach the link to the full video in the description. But no, you cannot have an airport inside the West Bank because if you do, they'll smuggle weapons and explosives and whatever they want to commit more attacks. The only reason why the Gazan airport was destroyed is because they smuggled ammunition and explosives and objects that are harmful to Israel. So the West Bank should never have an airport as long as our situation is not normalized. And I don't think it's going to be normalized anytime soon. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you'd like to support me financially, you can do that using Buy Me Coffee or Patreon down in the links in the description. Please don't forget to join our Discord in the link below. And now you can become a YouTube member and enjoy specific YouTube perks. Thank you so much. I'll see you again in the next video.